afternoon. I am Pattie Wallander, Aifd, CFD, Icpf. Thank you for coming to my program today. I also would like to thank Robert Wallander for hosting and sponsoring our program today. Today we will be talking about how to make an aluminum wire cuff. I will show you some fast, easy techniques to help you along with our prom season. We are finding more and more that the high schools are scheduling prom the same weekend as Mother's Day. I am a freelance designer and I realize how hard and difficult this can be for your staff. I'm going to show you some quick techniques on how to organize your dance, how to upsell, how to use less product, and to make more money. Let's start today with talking about the tools we're going to use. One of my favorite tools to use when I'm doing wire work is a pair of baling pliers. They're about 1 inch long, one end's wider, the other's smaller. But when you're using your 1 inch flat aluminum wire, you can just take it and twist and twist and twist. And then we get a wonderful curl. And if you want it to be a wider curl, you can do this too. This is fabulous to not leave any rough wire edges that might hurt our girl that's wearing the flowers. We also will be using needle nose pliers. With the needle nose pliers, we need to be a little concerned about the fact that we have the grooves in them. They're great if we need to really grab something and hold onto it, or twist something that might be a little bit stronger like our mega wire. But we can also leave a mark with the groove. So we need to really think about that and what we're doing. We also have a pair of side cutters. The side cutters are great to cut through our thicker wire. Again, like our mega wire, which is a little thicker, or the coils of the aluminum wire, I like to use that on. I also have a pair of jewelry pliers. These have a little bit finer tip. I like to use them sometimes when I'm putting sequins in or gems, or if I just want to do some delicate wire work where I'm not concerned about leaving a mark or marring our surface of our wire. These work fabulous. We also have a pair of shears. These shears I got about 10 years ago in a quilting store. Now I don't quilt, but I love my shears. They're made of titanium. They go through anything, and if you need to cut your glue dashes or your glue dots, they do not stick to the titanium. So that's a very useful tool when we're doing detailed work as corsages or brooches or any of the fine wire work if we're wanting something to stick. Sometimes we want those glue tabs just a little bit smaller. And then last but not least, our floral knife. I like to use the floral knife so that I can cut a nice straight cut at the end of my stem and glue it flat to my wire. Or if we're going to work with the hypericum berry, we know that we want to cut that off real flat there and glue the flat on there. That's how we do the hypericum berry. Let's talk about what we're going to make our cuff out of. We are going to be using the Oasis aluminum flat wire. This is the 1 inch. It is great to make and form a cuff for our girl. Comes in many colors. I have it here in hot pink, but we're going to be using the silver. We're also going to be using the Oasis bullion wire. With that, we are going to make a pad, something to give our flowers something to stick to. I'll show you that technique in just a moment. We are going to be adhering our flowers with floral adhesive, or a lot of us call it cold glue. We also will be using our Oasis U-Glue in the dashes. I highly recommend these when we are working with the wire. So let me pull my glue over and let me show you what we're going to do. First off, we don't need very much of this wire to work on for our bracelet. About 6-7 inches is plenty. And I take my shears and I just cut a straight edge. Then I take my baling pliers, and on this one I'm going to curl it on the wider side. And I just curl, and then I come back around And I get a good 2 curls on there. I like it to really wrap around. That way there's no chance of it unwrapping. And like I said, this edge is very sharp, so I would never want it to come back and hurt our client who's wearing it. So now that we have that, then what you need to decide is, do you want your curls up on your bracelet or do you want them down? I think I kind of want them up. So we're going to do it like that. So then what our next step will be is we're going to take a couple of our glue dashes and I'm going to just put them right in the center. They don't have to be right close together, but just like that. We're going to pop those off. Then we are going to take our bullion wire. I'm using a burgundy today. And when we start our bullion wire, we are going to start it so that the end is in the middle of our glue dash. And we are going to just twist and twist and twist over those glue dashes. What this does, it gives something for our botanicals to stick to. It's not 100% necessary. It's just a technique I have developed over the years that I find works really good. With these girls, wave their arms around and they just have a good old time. And I want them to, but I also want their flowers to stay put exactly the way I put them. And I like the texture it adds. I love to have some texture in our dance, corsages, cuffs, all of that. And this technique works if you wanted to do a headpiece or a necklace. You easily could put this onto a headband. So then what we're going to do is when we're getting ready to stop it, we stop and we kind of eyeball that up and we glue that down right on top of our glue dash. Again. And when I do these, I design on them while they're flat. Now let's take a moment and talk about what we do with our orders. For prom, when your clients are coming in and they are wanting to order and the dance is on Mother's Day weekend, I see a lot of shops panic over this. Please do not panic. This is extremely manageable. This can be made up weeks, even months ahead of time. In the shops, we know that January is a pretty slow month. We're inventorying Christmas, we're packing Christmas away, but we can have our designers working on our bases. There's no reason why we cannot have these, and you can get wonderful bracelet displays and sell them. Sell your prom off of the bases you have made. We know what the prom fashions are going to be ahead of time, so there's no reason we cannot be prepared. What I do is when I take my order, I sell from the bracelet or the base, whether it be a necklace or you could even do a set with these. Sell it, take my box, put the order, put the base in the box. Then I know come the Wednesday before, depending on what flowers you're using, Tuesday before even, all I have to do is adhere my flowers to this. And this is done. Most of your work is already done. So let me show you what we're gonna do. We're gonna get our handy dandy floral knife. And right here, I have some silver dollar yoke. I like to look for some of the smaller pieces. And I also I cut the stems off. I want a nice round stem. And we're going to glue that on, 2 of them, kind of opposite of each other. I'm going to just take a little bit of glue. We're going to put those down. So we have just like that. Now I have several varieties of flowers to choose from here. I have some spray roses. I have some cushion mums. I have a stem of alstroemeria. I even have a lily and some hypericum berry. I also have an orchid plant. And I want everyone to look and think about this. We buy orchids by the bunch from our wholesalers, which is fabulous. But sometimes you have that girl that just wants one bloom of an odd color. Why not buy a plant? I can cut this one bloom off. Okay. Trim that up. I still have a plant to sell in my shop. Absolutely. See, we have a side shoot here with more blooms coming out. We have more blooms here coming out. So I have my bloom for my corsage, and yet I still have an entire plant to sell in my shop. That's win-win. Then we have our orchid. What a beauty is she. Oh. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the stem. We're going to cut it flat. I don't need all that on there. I want it nice and flat. And I'm going to put some of my glue over that stem where that fresh cut is made, because what I want to do is I want to seal that in. And our Oasis adhesive glue is wonderful for sealing our stems in. So I have some glue in here, and I already have my foliage glued down here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look and see how do I want it. I'm an asymmetrical designer, so my stuff tends to be a little to the side or curved or not symmetrical. And then we are just going to glue that down right like that. How beautiful is that? How simple, how elegant. We could leave it just like that, or we can enhance. I love to enhance. Here's a piece of gunny yolk. Now what we're going to do is when we cut this off, we want to make sure we get that nice and flat. I don't want any rough stems out. We're going to cut that down. So out of that whole stem, I took one piece and I cut it in two. I have a little bit of glue here, so I'm just going to kind of just dab this in. I'm going to kind of stick that in there, in those wires that we went ahead and wrapped around our cuff earlier. I'm going to do another little piece going this way. And there we go. We have a beautiful cuff. We're going to let this dry for a moment. And then we're going to show you, you can just take that. And what I like about these aluminum flat wire cuffs is your client can form them to their wrist. Isn't that elegant? Look at that. I have made these for myself when I've been going out to dinner. If I'm going to dinner with some friends, I might make my girlfriend one too to wear, you know, just something fun. Let's look at this other one that I made here. This one, same technique, flat wire, the bullion wire to make a little pad, but I took it a step further. I took in a nice complementary color. These girls like bright, so I did bright. I took and made a flower out of the bullion wire. What I did with this is I took a glue dash to the bottom and I brought up some bullion and threaded up through and tied it. And on here, look at how fabulous this looks. 2 pieces of silver dollar, 2 spray roses. This would easily sell in any shop across this country for $45 or more. And simple, simple, simple. So I want to thank you for watching my program today. I hope you learned some valuable tips on organizing your prom, not panicking when the proms are on Mother's Day, how to increase your sales, how to make more profit on the items that you're selling. Thank you.